It's the Mike Calta Show. It's 102.5 The Bone. Please go get Jay Mohr and bring him in the studio. Jay Mohr is going to be at Side Splitters all weekend long. We just had a quite comfortable moment in the bathroom together. And then I had to walk away. I go, I can't talk to you twice. I don't want to do the same interview twice. Jay Mohr will be out there tonight, 8:30. Friday, 8 and 10:15, and Saturday, 7:30 and 10:15, 960-1197 to see Jay Mohr's at Side Splitters. There he is. Look at the muscle structure on him. Look at the size.
Yeah.
I see.
What's up, buddy?
Instagram curling while you're doing videos. You're in great shape.
I've been putting in a little work, a little bit.
I was just saying this before. You were making me nervous last time you were here because it was just not a good time. I did tell everybody was like, how was Jay? I said, one of the most honest interviews I've ever had in my life.
Well, I wasn't doing good, though, but I was honest about it.
Not too many people are honest about it. They hide it.
I got diagnosed last month, about 6 weeks ago, I got diagnosed bipolar.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 49 years old.
I know.
My shrink, it took a year and a half for the diagnosis. He didn't, put a label on it quickly.
But now, before this, you suffered horribly from panic attacks and anxiety.
And depression.
And depression. So somebody at that point should have realized that it may be worse than just anxiety.
Well, if I shared it with anybody, sure.
Oh,
that's the thing when you're depressed. It's like, hey, buddy. Hey. That's the thing, when you're depressed, your friends go hey, next time you're feeling that way, call me. It's like, I can't. My phone weighs next to nothing, and it's right next to me. I can't call you.
Right.
It's right here.
No, but you're right. And then who do you call? I'm not going to call one of my buddies and be like, what are you doing watching the football game? I feel really anxious. That's not something you're going to tell your friends.
Mike, don't you feel this way? If you've had really bad depression, it's like, why can't somebody just come in my door? Why can't somebody just show up and be a hero?
But who?
I don't want to call anybody.
But who is that? Under the before, there's nothing you can do sometimes to help them. Even if you come in and you're the hero, you don't know really what they're going through. And yeah, you wish that somebody would just come and take it off your shoulders, but it's impossible.
I guess get them out of the house is if somebody just got me out of the apartment. I remember laying in my bed for 3 days. There was piss in my bed. I have two little lap dogs. They had gone number 2 in the bed, and one is California King. The other side of the bed was their poo. I didn't care.
Yeah,
it was piss and crap in the bed. Nothing could move. I just was filled with sand, and I was coaching wrestling at Crespi Carmelite in Encino. And I remember the head coach texted me, "I need you to run practice," and I was out.
Oh, well, that was
not I got to get it together. I was just up and out. I was on my way to school.
So now this has been the way that you've channeled your depression and whatever you have through wrestling has been the outlet to get you kind of out of the house and back in action?
I went to a mental hospital twice since I saw you last. And both times was a Friday, by the grace of God.
Took yourself there?
I went to see somebody else, same person. I went to visit downtown at Kaiser Place, inpatient. And that person had a shadow with them 24/7. About from me to you, 8 feet away. And I was like, that's what I need, because I need somebody to co-sign reality.
Yeah.
We're watching TV? Yes, we're watching TV. I was that gaslit by my ex. And I remember saying, excuse me, and I was going to ask them for a bed. And both times was a Friday night. Both times when the person turned around and said, yeah, can I help you? I realized at that moment I had the Improv on Melrose the next night.
Yeah.
And I can't cancel on Rita.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, for some reason, both times, there was a 7 a.m. wrestling practice at 7 in the morning on a Sunday.
So you don't want to miss that.
And that was those paddles, clear. That got me, well. So I was like, if I do these things first, I can avoid that result.
Where is your family? You tight with your family or no?
Yeah, they're in New Jersey.
And do you, your father, your mother, anybody?
My mom passed this year.
So that adds
Alzheimer's. And it is funny, by the way. Don't tell me Easter egg jokes, because it's a hacky old joke.
No, but I mean.
No, not you.
Yeah.
But when the phone rings and your mom answers the coffee pot, I'm sorry, that's hilarious. And it's frustrating because I still don't know who was there.
All right. So your mom is dealing with Alzheimer's and dying, and what about your dad?
He's in Jersey, where they lived in their little house. My sister is down the street from them, and my other sister's in Kentucky by marriage.
Are you the youngest?
Yeah.
So then you have old parents. So your parents aren't really ones you're calling up and saying, "I feel horrible. I feel depressed."
Well, you don't call anybody and tell them you're depressed.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If we did, we wouldn't be depressed. If rehabs work, there wouldn't be AA.
But if there was somebody you felt like you can confide in, somebody that you were super close to.
I've never had a problem sharing it with Anybody, really. Like that's.
You just need someone to like ask or someone to initiate it.
I'll offer. Like I'm not, as Mike knows. Like I'm an open book. Like I can't really hide the truth because I need the truth. I need to identify the truth to live in the truth, so that I may speak the truth. Because being in 2 programs that end in A and neither of them have to do with eating, that's the only thing that works for me. Otherwise, I get in my own head and I'm just an addict.
Yeah.
So I have no problem like sharing with somebody like I've been having really bad depression, and this usually is an excuse why I was an hour and a half late for live TV or something.
Right.
Like, oh, sorry, I'm really depressed.
Have you gotten to the point where you help other people yet? Usually that's the mode for people who.
Oh, that's huge. You have to.
Yeah.
But that goes back to AA and NA. Like you got to help. You got to be and being a Catholic.
But you also you know how difficult it was for you when you recognize in other people. You were like, I want to be what I wish I had.
Yeah, for coaching, that's exactly how I approach coaching.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what I needed when it comes to depression or anything. So I just try to be. Like, if you need me, I'm here.
Right.
It's hard. A friend of mine once said when his dad died, 5 say, if there's anything I can do, let me know. And then there's 5% of people that come out of nowhere. They just show up with food.
Yeah, and
they just show up with like a book. I like this book. Maybe you'll like this book.
Right.
And it was like 15 years ago. I was like, I want to be one of those 5%.
Oh, that's good. I'm not. I'm not. If you call me, I'll come pick you up, but I'm not showing you my books.
There's anything I can do for you. Just I hope you don't ask. But whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, let me know, and I'll have Spanish bring it to you. But other than that, I'm. Jay is here, and I was thinking about this the other day. You probably don't know this, but my anniversary is coming up. I'll be married 17 years.
God bless you.
Right, and it was you that kind of. So we got married on a Saturday, like most people. We weren't going away on a honeymoon right away because I had to work. And that Sunday, we went to see you at the Improv 17 years ago. Because I had people in town. I go, oh, Jay Mohr's there. We should all go do that together. And we all went. And it was that night that I saw Bert for the first time. Yeah. And the two of you absolutely crushed it. And now you are forever associated with my wedding.
That's
Isn't
good,
that weird?
Man.
Yeah.
What a show that was, too.
I mean,
I've always had, like, the best openers ever.
It's unbelievable. I tell everybody I left the club that night, loved you, thought you were great, but left the club the next day, called the club and said, who was that guy with Jay Mohr? Because I'd never seen anybody that funny before.
If you take Joey Diaz out of the equation, because he's the Michael Jordan of storytellers.
Right.
Bert's the best storyteller I think that's ever lived.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And the amount of stories he has that actually happened.
Right.
And that was a big turning stone for me as far as stand-up. It was about 6 years ago I realized everything I'm going to say on stage until I die has already happened to me. Mm-hmm. So to sit down and actually write a joke is not truthful.
Right.
It's like a faulty construct. Like, I was watching Turner and Hooch the other day. No, you weren't.
Yeah.
Tell me about when you used to box on the roof of your house. Tell me about when you and Eddie Collins blew each other when you were 10 years old. Like, that's the stuff.
What about Joey? Joey, I will watch his podcast. I don't even know half the people he's talking about, and I still get into his stories. He told a story one time on a podcast about that to me, he did drugs. And that part of the drug thing was that you had to warm up the drug. I don't know what it was, so you put it in the microwave for a couple of seconds before you use it. He went to a guy's house and brought his own microwave because that guy was a junkie and he knew he probably sold his microwave, so he was walking around carrying his own microwave, which is hilarious to me.
He goes, when he tried heroin, he was on coke so much that he switched to heroin, and then he didn't want to do coke anymore, and he goes, I gotta share this with somebody. I don't want to do coke anymore. Like he goes, I forget the reference he used, but it's like, I gotta call PBS. He thought he was on to like a Nobel Peace Prize. Like, if you do heroin,
fix the coke problem.
I got the you just do heroin.
He's the best.
I listen to that podcast. If I'm rounding up, I listen to Joey Diaz, Church of What's Happening Now, every single day.
Yeah.
But it's and the wisdom.
Yeah.
About, like, don't work for the money. You got to find something you love first. Like, about respect, about, like, where he comes from as far as his background and, like, stealing all the time. Yeah. Like, it's like, so I'm doing construction in Denver. So I put on a mask and I hid behind the guy's house and I knocked him out. He never came back to work. The guy moved away.
Yeah. And the best is, they're all true.
Oh,
he's not making anything up.
I've never known anybody with that much content.
Yeah.
It's like working at Sony Pictures.
I wonder sometimes. I look at the clock sometimes before I say something and see if my kids are in the car or whatever, and I hold off. Joey doesn't care at all who hears what, knows what. He just says what he has to say, and he doesn't care what you think.
It makes me happy.
There's very few people who could live their life like that.
I'm, you said you're married 17 years coming up. I'm single for the first time in 17 years.
Yeah, and do you like that or no? I think you like to be in relationships, no?
Well, yeah, but they didn't go the way I had planned.
Right.
Nobody gets married to get divorced.
Well, how many times have you been married? Twice?
Twice.
Who was the first one? Just some girl.
Yeah.
So, and where, like, see, that bothers me because at that point you were at the height of your fame and popularity, and somebody should have been like, "Don't get married yet."
That was before Saturday Night Live.
Oh, it was.
I met her, asked her out. We went on one date, and then I got Saturday Night Live the next day. So I was in New York. She was in L.A. I was never faithful. I was a scumbag.
Okay.
And when we got married, I was just never married. I was never there.
Yeah.
And. Yeah, this is the child support tour. 10 grand. 10 grand.
No kids with the first wife.
One
kid.
One of each. Yeah, 10 grand a month child. So,
but she has money too. How do you get robbed on that?
I don't know. I didn't commit a crime. If I knocked a guy out at a bar, right, and he hit his head on the bar on his way down, and he moved the Bell's.
That's your fault, yeah.
And the judge goes, "We could either do a year in jail or it's 10 grand a month for the next 10 years." Like that, I get.
Yeah.
I get hit the note.
Right.
It didn't work out. It was
Yeah,
me and a chick. Did it with 10 grand a month. Let's say I make hypothetically $30,000 last weekend in Dallas.
All right.
So 10 grand a month child support. Now I got 20. My rent's 7, so now I got 13. My agent's commission is 3, 10% of the 30. Now I got 10, but I'm paying tax on the 30, so I'm minus 2. I'm minus 2,000.
Yeah, you owe money.
30 grand Thursday to Sunday, and I'm minus 2 grand.
That's ridiculous.
Somebody call Spencer for hire.
How long were you
I like
married?
that reference because it's timely.
I love that show. How long were you married?
10. Like a day before 10 years. This last one.
Okay, so 10 years, and in that 10 years, she worked and had a show on NBC.
The first 2 or 3 years she worked, and then it was a slow slide to just not leaving a room.
I'm trying to figure out why this would make sense. I don't know, and I would imagine she came into it with money too.
Oh, she had all the money when we met.
Yeah,
like we bought a house. We bought a $3 million house, and she put all the money down.
So why couldn't they come up with you get the house back and you get a couple bucks and then we walk away even?
Well, I owe the IRS about $1 million. That part wasn't, they had a lien on my house and everything. It was crazy. I sold a $4 million house. I made $17,000. Which went to credit cards.
Yeah,
I was that much in debt.
Holy cow!
She was only happy if she was opening something.
Yeah. And can we talk about this now? Because I asked you about this a long time ago. What was she doing to her lips? Her lips got ridiculous.
She never had anything under her lips.
You still say that, and I know you would tell me the truth if it was not true.
Maybe she lost a lot of weight, and they looked enormous.
They did, and it was sexy, but it looked fake.
That's a terrible picture. That's like a picture between smiles, the CBS upfronts.
Right.
That's the one that launched the whole thing.
Okay, but maybe not anything to her lips. But did she do anything to her cheeks, like get a lift? Or?
No, there's been no surgery. We both got like Botox and stuff. Like I got these 11s done here, but nothing to her lips.
I don't mind that. I went with my wife. My wife got her lips done a little bit, not just a little.
And I know it sounds. I look at that picture and I think I'm crazy too.
Right. Well, maybe she was doing it about.
That's just the lady. She's chewing cashews.
Yeah, the way you are.
She's chewing. She's chewing cashews after a miscarriage outside of a CVS in Malibu,
and you get no peace.
And that's the photo. They're like, hey, look. Well, yeah, she's 15 years old in that picture, by the way.
That's great.
All the before pictures, she's 15.
Yeah. Oh, see, that makes more sense. Where do you meet her?
On the set of Las Vegas.
Were you guest star on the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
I asked her out that day.
You did?
Oh, God.
There's a lot of hot girls on that show.
Not as hot as her.
Really?
Hottest woman I ever met in my life.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Absolute smoke show. And the first civilian I met that I wanted to be as funny as. Like, I wanted to be as funny as her.
You say she's funny. Like, she wrote your special, or she wrote some of it.
You do anything you can at the end.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. You meet her in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You ask her out. She says yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And you hit it off right away?
Yeah, we went out. We saw the nativity scene in Santa Monica. They have like all they used to have like all these mannequins from Sears and JCPenney, and they dress them up like the nativity scene. So all the, like, it's one of the best things on Ocean Avenue with the ocean behind you.
Right.
And then these atheist groups protested it, so now it all got taken down because these godless jerks.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So now we can't enjoy because all the mannequins look like Will Ferrell in a sketch, like with a big fake wig, big fake beard, and his, like coat. So we went there, we walked around a little bit, and I was like, I'm gonna play it slow.
Are you intimidated?
Yeah,
because she's
the hot. She's the hottest woman I ever met in my life.
Wow,
it's insane.
Okay.
And I'm in show business.
Yeah.
Like I've seen, but there's just something. Some people got that signal in the noise. There's just a different tuning fork, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm playing this slow, okay. And I dropped her off at her house, and we made out a little bit in my truck. And then she took my hand and put it down her throat and pulled it out of her throat and said goodnight and got out of my truck. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, that's like, a good. Yeah.
Like down, and I'm like, I'm gonna holler at nothing.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good move.
She's the hottest.
Yeah. So you seem like you like I don't know. How are your feelings for her now?
I love her. You know,
Yeah.
we have a kid together, and I love her. She's the love of my life. It just didn't work out.
How often do you see her?
I don't.
You don't.
Don't talk to her.
But what about the kid?
I communicate through a relative.
Yeah. And you're able to have a good relationship with the kid, or is that hurting?
Oh, that's my best friend. That's my guy.
Okay.
That's my guy.
That's good.
My guy.
That's a lot to keep together, man.
It's been a hard couple of years, man.
And then to be famous on top of it, because you know that people are sniffing around your stuff. They love to get dirt.
Well, here's the thing with me. It's like anybody that has dirt on me, it's already been spoken about on my podcast or on stage. Like,
right.
If I ran for office, they're like, hey, we heard you were with a transvestite. I'm like, everybody knows that.
Yeah. but the thing is that you have enough to go through. It's like if I used to do afternoons, and if I had a fight with my wife before I did the show, I was like, now I have to walk in and pretend that I'm in a good mood. You know,
we never had a fight.
Yeah, no,
we never had a fight.
No,
I can't. You know, out of respect to her, I'm not going to go to the off mic. I will, but I can't go into specifics of what went down. You know.
Well,
but you know, you rush home to see somebody, and they're not particularly thrilled to see you.
Yeah.
After a while. What's the common factor here? Me.
Yeah.
So it's like then you both start not really liking you. And whether that's perception or reality, who knows?
I didn't like you for a little while, and then you sent me flowers, and now we're friends.
You know what? Nobody's ambivalent about me.
What did I say though? Is that I had a disagreement with Jay, and you called the show. We talked about it for 45 minutes. In that 45 minutes, I tried so hard to not like you and fight with you, and at the end of it, I was like, I can't help it. He accepted it all like a man and could have
hung up at any time.
Could have been like, who are you? I don't need you.
I don't remember the fight. Was I wrong?
You weren't. It wasn't that big of a deal. You got involved with something that you shouldn't have, and I called you out on it. And we went back and forth, and then you called up and you said, "Listen, I was a dick. I did some stuff. It was none of my business." And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, "Yeah, but blah blah blah." And you're like, "Yeah, you're right." And I was like, "All right, how do you fight with a guy like that?" And then the next day you sent me flowers, and I'm like, "How do you not like that guy?"
I don't know. I got to be accountable.
Yeah. Well, I'm not, or I'll just keep fighting to fight. You know, I had a fight with Michael Rappaport the other day.
Well, he's
easy
to fight with.
Yeah, you just nailed it on it. Everybody was like, "You seem like you had that plan." Yeah, I just don't like him, and I was like, "I'm just gonna tell him. I have the opportunity to tell him. I'm just gonna tell him."
Ever see on YouTube when he reacted to the Knicks drafting Porzingis?
No, did he lose his mind?
Yeah, but not realizing Porzingis is like he would have been a top 3 pick the year before.
Right.
They drafted who? Those mother effers. He has like a total damn. Porzingis turns out to be a damn unicorn on the court.
Yeah. Tell me about radio. You would fill in a lot for Jim Rome.
Yeah, I filled in for Jim Rome like 30 times, and
I used to listen to that. I thought you did a great job.
I loved it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. I got away with murder. And then when he left to go to CBS, there was an opening at Fox, so I was like, well, I won't have to travel as much.
Yeah.
And so I did that for about 3.5 years. And
now,
then
do you call Jim and say, "Hey, I got this opportunity"? Because what happens is he switches networks.
I should have done that. And
you're replacing him in a lot of spots, so even though that wasn't your choice.
I should have done that.
Yeah.
If I could do it all over again, I would have called him because it's a respect. I wasn't keeping anything from him.
Right.
But he's tough to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Yeah. he's the guy.
Yeah.
It's like calling Howard Stern.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
he's the guy.
Yeah.
It's like Rush Limbaugh, Howard Stern, Jim Rome. Like it's a very small group of guys that are nationally syndicated.
I just assumed you guys had a bigger relationship.
I sell more tickets to comedy because of his radio show than all my credits combined.
Really?
As many. It's 50-50. Guest hosting Jim Rome versus Saturday Night Live, Jerry Maguire, through to like Suburgatory and American Housewife.
I don't like sports enough to listen to regular sports radio. But my buddy Pete was like, "You've got to listen to this guy, and you got to give him 2 weeks." And I said, "Okay."
It's amazing.
It was hilarious. I mean, the way that he did sports radio, nobody had done anything like that before. And then when you'd fill in, and the Sklar brothers would fill in, I was like, "These guys are great," because nobody really wants to listen to a fill-in host. And then all of a sudden, you're like, "I like these guys too." I'm like, "This is good," but you also kept it in the same vein, kind of his show through.
So you couldn't go too far off the reservations. Right. You wanted to keep the format the same. And the thing, when I got my own show, when I took over for Jim Rome, we kept all the affiliates. We'll have 155 affiliates. I kept all of them, which is unheard of. And I remember Adam Carolla telling me, like, you never want to be the guy to replace the guy. You want to be the guy after the guy. Right. You don't want to be David Lee Roth.
Right.
You want to be the guy after David Lee Roth.
David Lee Roth, with all he's done in music and pop culture, that's what he's going to be. You don't want to be the David Lee Roth.
You don't want to be that guy. You want to be the guy after the guy that replaces the guy. So, and then I had like the first big meeting with, internal, and I was a lot of red flag. No, not a red flag, like just red.
Right.
I remember Baylor football had like sexual assault stuff going on and rape, and I looked up like 1 in 5 women will be sexually assaulted in college, and guys would call in, and the two things were like, well, what if he didn't do it? And that made me irate. Like, well, what if he did? Like, and I realized, like, as a guy in this country, if you think it's hard to be black or Dominican or Puerto Rican or Jewish in this country, try being a woman for one day. Forget it. Yeah. So I remember, like, if the mindset of every guy is, well, what if he didn't do it?
Right.
It kind of made me like taking it back. And then people were calling up and arguing the 1 in 6 number. Where'd you get those numbers from? And I had an aggregate of 12 sites and articles, left and right. I threw out the most left and the most right, and it stayed that throughout. And the guy goes, well, somebody says, some person said that number's too low. It's actually like 1 in 11. I'm like, so what number's okay?
Right. Where does it?
Like 1 in 20. Is that okay? If your daughter's number 20, are you fine with it? And I remember being so proud of that show because I took a stand.
Yeah.
And the next morning, the meeting, my boss goes, Don Martin goes, my man, I don't know what's going on down there, my man, but in the second hour, you said 16 times. He counted my ums. It was on a yellow legal pad. I remember going, this isn't going to last long.
I say,
You said 16 times in the second hour. What's going on down there, man? And then he played me a whole, like, 16 in a row, like, of Dan Patrick doing his teases for the next hour. He goes, that's how you want to do a tease, my man. Not one word of like the actual content of the show. And it's just the stamina I don't have. Like, you guys have a stamina that I'm a wrestler. Like, I put the ocean into a trash can all at once. I got 6 minutes. I hope it don't go 6 minutes.
I get those every once in a while. I get the tease. You got to tease better. I'm not a tease. I don't know.
That'll hook them for the next quarter hour. No, it won't. Don't play music going out of break, because then they know the segment's over and they're going to turn the channel. That's not true. No. That's not true.
No.
It's not. You and I know that's not true.
No, I know. I don't. And I tried sometimes.
Nobody hears like Zeppelin, "Fool in the Rain," and goes, "Oh, Mike's going to break." Click.
I don't know. I think that I'll even tell them, this is the worst part. If we'll talk now for an hour, I'll go an hour without playing commercials. So at some point I have to catch up and have a long commercial break. I'll even say before I go to break, hey, we'll be back. This is going to be a long break, but we'll be back. And everybody's like, don't do that. And I go, well, I'd rather them tell them, and they come back in 5 minutes and we're still playing commercials. They go, what the hell's going on?
You have capital with your audience then. They trust
they're honest. Yeah, that's all. Jay Mohr is here. He's extremely funny. He got a lot of interesting things to talk about in his life, but he's a very funny comedian.
Not this morning. I'm not funny.
No, you don't have to be, but you will be tonight at Side Splitters at 8:30, Friday 8 and 10:15, and Saturday 7:30 and 10:15. I promise you, if you've never seen Jay do stand up and you just know him from movies and TV, that's not where he got started. He's a comedian. That's where he got started, and he's very funny. What's the last, like, I'm trying to think of the last time I saw you in a movie that I didn't know, or TV show. I saw you on something on TV recently.
Fabulous Burt Wonderstone, the magician movie with Steve Carell.
Yeah. No, I saw you on a screenshot of a TV show that you wouldn't be on. Was it like Touched by an Angel or something like that?
It was either The Mick or American Housewife.
Oh, it must have been American Housewife.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, the Mick was great. We always talk. We were talking about the other day, like how does a show like that get canceled?
Maybe it just cost too much money.
Really?
I was on it, and I remember when they told me it was canceled, I was like, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And it was run by women.
Oh, really?
It's usually if I like the show, it gets canceled.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, I usually blame myself because I'm like, this is a great show. It's going to get canceled.
I feel so happy now moving forward. I got some place to put the blame now. Hey, when my next 2 shows get bounced.
I watched Suburgatory. Sorry, that was my fault too.
Oh.
I got 2 in the hopper. I'm going to make sure you don't watch them.
Okay.
Can you tell me about anything?
Yeah, one where I'm a life coach. I do life coach stuff. And I've been through enough.
Yeah.
And I've evacuated all my insides that I actually do. Use JayMohr.com. You see testimonials if you think of. I hate the words life coach. Yeah. But
did you pitch that, or does somebody say, "Hey, Jay's got this going on"?
We filmed it, and do I pitch the?
Like, do you go into a place and say, "I got an idea where I play a life coach"?
Somebody approached me with an idea for a show, and I sort of steered it into life. It was more like, don't get mad, get Jay Mohr, like getting back at people.
Okay.
And I go, or we could actually help people and give, like, Iyanla, fix my life, but, like, with me.
Right.
And then there's another one where we're shopping that now. I filmed that. It's the people that did Cops, Langley Productions, and then there's one where I'm like, it's kind of like Curb Your Enthusiasm with me, where it's like a guy getting his act together, and I really am happy. Curb, clean up after your dog. Like a guy that's trying to be. It's like anger management meets Curb Your Enthusiasm, but it's me.
I think you'd be funny that way in a very lightly scripted show. You said something one time I had you on. I'll never forget this. You won't remember it all, but you were doing a radio tour, and I forgot what you were promoting, but we were the first one that you talked to that day, and we were supposed to get like a 10-minute window, and we talked for 45 minutes. We ruined the whole radio tour.
A publicist tugging at me. I'm like, no. I told him to get lost.
Just kept going and going.
Yeah.
But that day, you were the first person, and I don't remember what your explanation was. You'll probably remember, but I was trying to explain to everybody that I am open to all lifestyles. I don't care who bangs who and who does what, but I love to say the word fag, and I don't mean it about somebody's sexuality.
Yeah,
I was like,
East Coast.
Right. It's the whole, and you were the first person to ever relate to that. You were like,
I gotta say it on stage sometimes because I say it too much.
Yeah,
and I'll go like, when I say, "Come on, don't be a fag," I'm not saying like, "Come on." To completion. I'm saying like, don't be a wet blanket.
Right.
It means nothing.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
But you know what happened is, I have a new assistant, and she has 2 brothers, and they're both gay. And I realized after about 2 weeks, this person like tailing me for 18 hours a day. Every time in hindsight, I was laying in bed one night. I realized every time I said this, it hurt her feelings, and she never. And I felt awful.
That's how I was.
That's what kiboshed the whole thing with me, because.
Well, I mean, that's how I was with retarded. Retarded's a great word that I would never use on somebody with a mental disability, but I love to use that word. And then a woman emailed me one time, and she said, "I love your show, but I have a kid who's got mental disabilities, and every time you say that, it hurts." And I was like, "Yeah, okay,
he shouldn't be listening for one." But especially because he thinks it's the microwave that Joey Diaz took to the other guy's apartment. No, I had an aunt that was special, or Nick, my ex-wife, had an aunt, and Christy was special, and that's where I learned like that word really like hurts them. Like you hear it in the mall, and their heads on a swivel, like, who said it?
Yeah. Oh God, I remember. I dated a girl who had a brother with Down syndrome. And
I dated a girl who had Down syndrome.
No, but there isn't a questionable incident. Yeah. I'll let me run it past Jerry and see what he thinks. There was a questionable incident, and there was a girl who called the morning show one time, and she was like, "I think your voice is so sexy. I want to meet you." And she carried on. I was like, "Oh, I happen to have a gig this afternoon." Then she came to the gig, and she just like stared at me from across the room. And then afterwards, I was walking to my car, and she followed me out to my car, and she was like, "I was the girl that called in this morning." And I said, "Oh yeah." And then we got in my car, and we were talking, and she seemed pretty like normal. She was dressed a little Holly Hobby-ish. And then I convinced her to do things to me in the car. And I was like, all right, well, that wasn't so bad.
You haven't even got it to it yet.
And then the next week, she showed up at my gig, and she's like, I made this for you, and I wanted you to have it. And she hand wrote me a cookbook, and I was like, maybe.
Hand wrote you a cookbook.
Maybe it was your wife's aunt that I was with.
It was the same recipe, just different colored crayons.
I know I saved it. I wish to God I could find it somewhere.
You got to find it.
I have to have it somewhere.
But then you knew she was special?
I don't know, but I
Well, she was, look, let's not make any mistakes. She was Ugats. Something was Cheminute.
Something wasn't
a
right.
handwritten cookbook. Something was not okay.
Or she just knew that I like to cook. I don't know.
Yeah, but handwritten cookbook, I mean, first of all, the fact that she was dressed Holly Hobbyish and was wearing Nap safety shoes, that should have tipped you off. But she had safety shoes from an assembly line.
Oh, she did. I don't know. It was very brown.
Crocs with socks.
She had a very brown outfit. I wish to God if that woman is still here, she would contact me and either say, stop talking about it, I don't have a problem, or I'm a full, capable adult now. I don't know. I would love to. I wish I could remember her name. She's probably going to kill me one day.
That's amazing.
I want to say she had a job, though, and she worked as some sort of forest ranger or something.
Or she just liked to be in the woods.
This is what it's like. Okay, I'm on dating apps now, so it's a role. Like,
Are you?
I can't make the leap from dating app to actually seeing the person. It's too bizarre. I have.
Right.
But that's like a giant chasm when you go from the person that you swiped. By the way, the dating app, women are ruining. They don't want to date. They want to be pen pals. They want to text over there. That's the moat around the castle.
Right,
they have a gentleman caller. They're being pursued, and they never have to be hurt.
And they like that interaction.
They never get their feelings hurt. They never get their heart broken. They just keep you at bay, right?
Yeah.
And there's so many ways women, like, I know guys are sending pictures of their cranks and stuff and ruining the game for everybody, but, like, women, full body shots only. Like, because I went on a date, it was, like, a beautiful face.
Yeah.
And I'm in the restaurant, and, like, this fatso walks in. She came through the wall like Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I'm there to hook up. She's there for seconds.
Yeah.
And lunch. She was a house. Like, full body shots only. And no
What
more,
do you do?
You just go, I'm going to go to the restroom. I'll be right. I actually went to the restroom, and I went to my car, and I went
You
home.
ran? You left her there?
I left.
Oh,
Yeah, well, I don't know where anything. What
Right.
do you mean?
Oh, hey, she fooled him first.
Let's get a female point of view, because she had a beautiful face.
Yeah.
But she could put her hands in her pockets naked, like she was a house. Like that's
Right, but instead of doing the slip out, just be like, yeah,
you're too fat for me to hang out with. I gotta go.
Is that nicer?
No, or just say like, yeah, you aren't what your pictures.
But that means fat.
No, but not necessarily, because you didn't call her fat, but you just say, hey, your pictures are misleading. This isn't what I
But
signed
the
up
picture
for.
she shared wasn't misleading. The face was beautiful.
You
But the
got up,
body.
went to the bathroom, and then hauled ass.
I didn't go to the bathroom. I said I was going to the bathroom. I just walked past the bathroom into the parking lot.
Right, how long do you think she sat there waiting for you to come back?
Well, considering there was free breadsticks, probably about an hour and a half.
Let me ask you, the 8 seconds that it took you to walk from the door to your car, were you nervous? I'd be doing that fast step.
She's
like
going to finger me from behind, like put the finger on me, like, hey, where you going?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She's watching me.
And I had a girl show up for a date. Girl, like, do you?
Wait, did that girl ever contact you again, or she just?
No, I blocked. Then I got on the app and I blocked her. She was on Tinder. I blocked her on
How
Tinder.
big? Show me what your arms. Was she really fat, or was she just
Not
fat?
really. It was like 180.
Oh yeah, that's.
How tall?
Yeah.
I'm 190.
Yeah.
I'm 190.
Right. And what? Oh man.
But I'm in pretty good shape.
If you're tipping
In
2 bills.
in a month, I'll be 175.
Right.
Just from rolling every day.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of bread. A lot of bread. Like filters on the picture is a big one too. Like like your girlfriend can't even send you a selfie without like moons coming out of her ears. And then you go on a date and you're like, you're not a panda. I thought I was gonna, it's like everybody's got like a fox nose and Harry Potter glasses.
Right.
And then in their profile, it's like no pictures holding a fish, no Trump supporters, can't be under 6'2". Just say in your profile, I'm afraid to date.
Yeah.
And I love long-term relationship only. Those are the ones I've only. Anytime I've had sex, it's them.
That's what Galvin was just saying this morning.
Yeah.
Those
a
are
buddy of mine said that. He goes, everyone that says long-term relationship.
I'm not sure. I just
He meant to say
I've let
car.
a couple of them go. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, because like, how'd you and mommy meet? Well, I was taking a dump and I swiped right.
Yeah.
Well, it's Tinder, long-term relationship only.
Is that what you're on Tinder?
I'm on all
You're
of them,
all of them. God, I wish I could be on
but
all of them.
I delete all of them
Yeah.
because it's such a time suck.
Yeah.
And then I go on the road. I'm like, oh, I could tell all dating apps that I live in Tampa.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's only black girls on Tinder in Tampa.
No.
Every girl.
What's the one that we use here? This is the king of dating
Bumble.
apps. Bumble.
You gotta get on Bumble. Yeah, I love
I got the Bumble.
If I'm
let
on
me know when
Bumble-
you pass on Raya, Playboy.
I got a thing for Raya, and I was like, "This is awesome." If I wasn't married, I would love to just go look around and see who is
The
there.
thing is, it's like show business.
Yeah.
So there's like a 6-week
publishers.
waiting list where they vet you. Then you finally get through. You're all excited. You think you're gonna be like fooling around with Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
It's like no, it's like hairdressers and set designers. You're like, come on, show business. Well,
Yeah.
I did scenery on Broadway.
Right.
Oh yeah. I got kicked off a dating app because they thought I was catfishing girls as Jay Mohr.
Oh, really? You can't just. That's what I was wondering. Like, so,
How do you prove you're you?
so like Biggin that showed up that day. She knows you're Jay Mohr. So are you worried now? She's gonna be like, I was too fat for Jay Mohr.
I'm not worried about anything.
No, but I mean, oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, there's no story.
No.
Like, I see escorts.
Yeah. Oh, you do.
Like, what if you? I don't know.
You do that in Tampa.
Like, well, aren't you afraid of getting caught? What's the story?
Yeah. Oh, if I was
I'm
single.
lonely. I'm single. I'm lonely. I'm on the road.
Yeah.
And I paid for company.
Yeah. I'm all for it.
Like, what are you gonna do?
Remember when Jack Shacks were like a big deal? Like
When
you
what?
go Jack Shacks, like you go into these places
For
and
Robert
girls-
Kraft ruined it. Fine young lady there.
You would go in there and the girls would model lingerie, and then you could negotiate stuff in there.
Those are the good old days when they bring out the like full display of girls.
Yeah.
And you had
You
pick
pick 'em.
to pick. But the ones you didn't want to pick, you were embarrassed. You tried to like act like it was between her, the ugly one with like the bangs and the crunchy bangs and the crooked tooth, and the hot one you want. You're like, eeny, meeny, mine, because you didn't want her to feel bad if it was only two.
That's how I felt. I never wanted to feel bad. Like I'm like, who am I to judge? But I went one time.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, I'm like,
They're
ah,
prostitutes.
What am I?
You're like, I don't want the hooker to feel bad.
Yeah, they got enough going on.
She's gonna go in the back and play Brick Breaker on her phone with some ginger gummies back at the Korean Jack Shack.
So there was an area. There's Steinbrenner Field, which is where the Yankees have spring training is over here, and Raymond James Stadium where the Bucks play. And there's an area that's like industrial behind there. It's between that and the airport. And the airport keeps buying as much land as they can, so it's shrinking. But it's a small area that unless you're going to buy used tires or get a new windshield or something, there's no reason to go over there. But the Jack Shacks were all set up over there. And I used to say, just fence it in and call it Jack Shack City and let people just go and do their thing there. That would have been perfect.
Are they still there?
There's a couple.
I need some used tires. That's why.
You don't want to go there.
The rub and tug. I need there to be a tug and rub. The rub and tug is a terrible model.
Tug first?
Yes.
Yeah, and then relax.
Because you are never sure if the tug is actually going to happen.
Right.
Unless you've been there before.
Anticipation.
So every time, like, you lay down in your stomach, you're naked with a stranger, and she's like, any part of your body needs special attention? And you're like,
Is
yeah,
that
you
what
know,
they say?
where my hamstring meets, like, my lower back, like, kind of my butt, but on the inside. And you're just explaining, like, your crotch.
Right.
And then you got to come up with some weird activity where you actually pull a muscle that you're wang. Like, how you hurt? Oh, I was folding triangles on the roof of my garage, and I slipped. Like, it doesn't even make sense. And every time she touches your back, you like, stick your butt up like a cat a little bit. So she takes the hint. And then you flip over. You're still not sure. And by the time she actually does it, I get sore from, like, squeezing my butt cheeks together.
Yeah.
I want to finish quicker, and then I need a massage.
Yeah. After it's over, you want to relax.
Like, God, now all that anxiety's out of me. Like, where's the place where you just show up and they just
they know. Yeah.
You're like, now you want me to rub your shoulders? No, I'm fine.
We went to a place one time that was in the
It's
mall.
Amsterdam, I guess,
Yeah, you know what you're getting right out of the gate.
or steam rooms or gay neighborhoods.
We went to a place in the mall for couples massage one time, me and my wife. We were driving back from somewhere, and we started calling, like, all these, like, spas, and they were all closed or booked. And then my wife finds this place in the mall, and we go there, and it was great. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I was like, I don't know. I think it's in the mall. It can't be that shady. Then eventually I went back there, and I couldn't remember what I used to talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Because she would accidentally pinky swipe me on the turn, and I'm like, is she flirting with me? What's going on over there?
I had a masseuse once tell me there's no ambiguity. If you feel it, it's happening.
Oh, really?
A hot girl masseuse that I had a lot. She was friends with my first wife, and my friends at the gym were like, "How can you get a massage from Stacy?" I'm like, "Cause I'm an adult."
Yeah.
She doesn't ever do the pinky swipe.
Right.
And she told me if there's any ambiguity, it's happening.
I wish I would have known.
I went to a gay steam room, and I didn't realize it was gay. I needed a steam.
I was like, this may be the best story ever.
It's pretty good. I had bronchitis. I needed a steam room bad because I had to fly the next day. It's like 11 at night on a Wednesday. I'm like looking on Yelp for best steam rooms. And I go, oh, here's a place in mid-Wilshire, like Koreatown. And there's a golf range there, too. So I go, you know what? I'll go I'll drive some balls.
And then go to the steam room.
So I get there, and they're cleaning up. It's over. I get there like midnight. The golf range is just closing up, which is too bad because it looked like Gattaca. It looked amazing at night. And I go in the steam room. I give my guy my ID, and it was like $25, 2 towels. Yeah, here's your key. I go in there, and I sit in the steam room, and the steam room's the size of this room. It's enormous, and there's 2 tiers. Like, do you sit up here, or you sit down there, and then there's the floor, and there's a shower over there, and a shower over there inside, so you rinse off. And I'm sitting there, and there's a guy, like, I don't know, like 4 feet from me, and under his towel, he's kind of pulling on himself. And you see that 20% of the time in any steam or sauna, you see a guy doing that. If you're a guy in a metropolis, that you just see it once in a while.
I don't believe I've spent enough time in a steam room to see that, so I'm good so far.
I go, all right, whatever. I've seen that before. He's over there. And then some guy walks in and sits on the bottom between his legs.
Okay.
A lot of room.
Yeah. You were right there.
So at that, the steam was like full, and the steam's dissipating before it kicks back on. And I look to my right, and I'm like, oh, these guys are like making out over here, like down over there. This guy that was pulling on his pod gets up and showers facing the guy, the twink that sat between his legs with his crank out like a half rod. And I'm like, wow, okay, this is like watching flamingos. So he sits back down, starts pulling again. The guy between his legs, the twink, he gets up and showers with his crank facing the other guy.
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You sat down between the legs of a guy that was punching his clown.
Right.
Then the guy on top gets up to shower again, and I was so annoyed that out loud I go, everything's like illicit and everything's like on the hush. So when I go, are you guys having kids? They all like jumped, and you hear like, blip, blip. And I actually left angry because like it's 2 gay guys. Like, what are you doing? Like that's what straight guys dream of. Like you sit down, some girl sits between your legs.
That's what I'm saying. How great is it to be gay?
These were the 2 worst gay guys I've ever seen in my life. And I stood up. I left. Like I got angry and I left. And I got to hold my towel a certain way to hide my erection. And I leave, and I remember the Korean guy at the front. I go, it's freaking amateur hour in there. And the guy he didn't speak. I actually said to this old girl, it's amateur hour in there, man. And he gives me my ID back, and so I've been back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think there was a part of you that just wanted to be in a gay steam room?
Oh, not that time.
No.
But I went back.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I went back for sure.
Yeah.
And because I know where the daddies sit compared to the twinks.
Right.
So I let a guy do it to me.
Come on.
Absolutely.
You let a guy do stuff to you.
I'm not gay.
You're not gay?
No.
How is that not gay?
Because I'm not gay. I'm not homosexual.
But you let a guy do stuff to you.
I let a guy put that,
Don't say exactly what it is.
No, of course.
Yeah.
I go, you know what? It's so bizarre. Like, what a weird thing. And I needed a steam room. And I go, I'm going to go back to that place and see if, like, anybody just reaches over. It's weird. Because the guy thing is this. I know the listeners are like, what? What a whole, like, fine. I don't really
you got to admit, it's a little shocking.
Great.
I'll repeat this again. I couldn't care less.
I couldn't care less either.
But I am very curious.
My skeletons are on your front lawn.
Right. I am very curious about it.
I went back, and I was sitting there, and it was like, it was a Friday night.
Right.
It was a full house.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I didn't go there for that intention.
Right.
And I was sitting there, and guys are just like looking around, and some guy just reached over and started like kind of
giving you some action
with his hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. And there was a guy sitting down there, and one guy was helping the other guy.
Yeah. So it all got in a little. You were involved in a little chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, that's enough. This is pretty gay.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is pretty gay.
Yeah.
Well, what point did it cross the gay line to you? You going back to me was gay.
It didn't cross the gay line for me.
You going back the second time to me was you going, I want to try a little gay stuff.
No.
I
would tell you.
Yeah, I believe you.
It doesn't interest me at all.
Right. Well, it did a little bit when you were there.
It was fascinating.
It wasn't.
Like, it was fascinating.
What was fascinating about it?
Like, there's a place where guys go.
Oh, that's great.
That's what was fascinating to me.
Right.
Like, because we can't as straight guys, we don't conceptualize.
We don't have that paradise.
These guys go there for this only reason.
Right.
It's the biggest con. It's the biggest facade on earth. I'm going to work out. I'm going to lift some weights. I'm going to swim. I'm going to hot pool, cold pool.
Just to get in that steam room.
And it's like, no, you're not. And like, you sit down and you know exactly the time another guy comes, maybe, and then like it's like this crazy network that we know nothing about.
Sitting there in the deal, and I got a towel on, and there's guys in the corner over there, and they're a good distance away from me. I just close my eyes. I don't care. But if there's a guy sitting next to me, and then he reaches over, I'd go, "Hey, buddy." And that ain't happening. I'm not the kick you in the face kind of guy, but I'm the guy that goes, "No, thank you."
No, that's what I would do now.
Yeah, but then you just want to experience it.
I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah. This is you're
in my mind. I'm not even gay.
Yeah.
The joke's on them.
That's a good way to justify it. But
like I did Adam Hunter's podcast, great comedian, great wrestling coach, and Dean McDermott does it with him. It's called Daddy Issues. And then Dean McDermott pulled up on his motorcycle. He still had his helmet on. I didn't know who he was, and he goes, "Hey man, do you fool with couples?" I had no idea it was him.
Yeah.
And I go, "It depends on how hot the wife is." And he takes off his helmet. He's like, "Ew, really?" I go, "Yeah." That's like, I don't know.
That's not that. That's
if the
totally
wife's
different.
the hottest woman, like, I would put it in her. I'd hold that and stick it in there, like put the plug in for him. Like, I don't care. It's for her.
Hey, look, I'm not judging you. It's just
like
shocking to me.
Guys like double, like a DP.
Yeah.
That's more gay than what I had at the steam room.
Oh no.
You're straddling another guy, and you're.
Oh, if you do it
your
that way.
sacks are rubbing together.
If you do it that way, I was thinking.
You're dripping sweat on the guy. If you're the guy on bottom, you're just taking the other guy's like drool and sweat.
Yeah, I get it. I was thinking this way, like one at either end.
Eiffel Tower.
But still, you're touching each other's legs.
Incidentally.
You smell his breath.
It depends. If he's your roommate for 6 years, it's not that big of a deal.
Don't get me wrong. I can't wait to try it.
Yeah. Oh, we got a whole weekend. The most fun Jay Mohr ever is here. See?
Like a double BJ.
One girl?
Yeah, I've always wanted to try that.
With 2 dudes and 1 girl.
I've always watched that kind of porn.
Right.
And my friend goes, "That's gay." I go, "You're gay for saying that's gay."
I don't think it's gay, but it's not a situation I would say I would.
I'm not asking you to, but when you were a kid,
maybe if it was you, I didn't.
We'd have a great time.
Yeah.
Well, when you were a little kid and there was a lightning storm and you were afraid and you were in the car with your parents would be like, "Don't worry, the tires are rubber, and that grounds the electricity."
Right.
Her mouth is the rubber. It eliminates all gay. It's making her feel hot. If it turns her on,
look,
we might have to bump donuts here.
I have. Listen, I've been there before. I had my best friend and I lived together for 6 years. We've been in threesome situations, but with avoiding as much contact as possible.
Of course.
Even though I was the victim of friendly fire one time. It was. It's something he loves to write on the forearm. Something he loves to tell everybody.
Somehow that's disgusting to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like it went across the bow, I'm all right. Hey, it happens.
Believe me, if it would have went past my armpit, I would have had problems.
Where Keitel's Panther tattoo is in Reservoir Dogs. Enough talk. Let's get a taco.
That I'm gonna tell you right now. One time you were on Opie and Anthony, and I listened to you talk about that movie and do. Maybe one of the funniest things I ever heard in my life.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it was to the point where you could not stop it if you wanted to.
When I start doing Keitel, it's a problem.
Yeah.
I can't stop.
Right.
Same with Colin. It's the same. I don't know if I've ever told you this. Colin Quinn and Harvey Keitel is the same. I've noticed impressions are the same voices. You can pair them with other impressions.
Okay.
Al Pacino and Tracy Morgan is the same. Well, Mike, let me tell you how I got pregnant.
You're right.
Like Harvey Keitel and Colin Quinn, like, look, what the hell was Joe think? He died or a maniac like that? I don't know. Maybe, maybe he went out of the wheelhouse somehow, On Sesame Street, Kermit the Frog and Ernie is the exact same voice.
Okay.
I'm about to ruin this for you.
Yeah.
It's the, not similar, it's the actual exact same voice. So
Hi, all. Kermit the Frog here for Sesame Street News, and here I am at the house of the three little pigs. Hey, Bert.
Oh, that's nice.
It's the same voice. Miss Piggy and Grover, exact same voice. I'm not doing that voice.
No, I didn't hear it.
Gay enough.
Oh my God.
So yeah, impressions like if I do Keitel or Colin, any of them. Like Norm doesn't have a partner. Impression-wise, that's so on its own. Walken is its own. Walken's just like people I grew up with. East Coast.
What is that like when you're with Walken? And does he love that?
No, he thinks I'm making fun of him.
On Suicide Kings,
it happened one time because he had a speech. It's lucky for you. I know who I know, and I do what I do. Otherwise, your princess would be chopped mincemeat by now. That speech, that line, know who I know and do what I do. Otherwise, your princess be chopped mincemeat by now. And I kept saying that over and over. And he had a page and a half of dialogue to memorize.
Right.
And he goes, "Whoa, JJ, stop. I'm trying to remember all these words, and you're teasing me, making fun of me. Why are you such a bully?" I go, I'm not making, and I was like, whoa, I'm not making fun of you at all. I just like the speech. I'm trying to memorize these lines. The things he said to me while duct taped to that chair.
Yeah.
Who's that woman that plays the nanny? What? The nanny. CBS. What's the name of the woman who plays the nanny? Fran Drescher. I'd like to bang her. Action. Like, what? Or, I can't even say the other one.
Why was that movie not more successful until it came out on tape? Everybody I know
it was only in like 100 theaters.
Well, my father said to me the other day, my father goes, "Hey, what's that movie Kevin was telling me about? Christopher Walken?" And I'm kind of like half listening. And I hear Suicide King. I go, "Suicide King? I told you about that one. I think I bought it for you one time." I'm like, "The movie's great. Like, Jay Mohr is going to be in town this weekend."
The poker scene. Put me next to Ira. He couldn't bluff his way out of a paper bag.
Yeah. Dude,
he got a full boat.
That is such a great movie.
Yeah, then there's Brett. He's got to control everything. Go is another one that's like, you ever see Go?
Yeah, I did.
It's like criminally. I think more underrated than this.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
I think you were very intimidating in the movie where you were a cop.
Street Kings.
Yeah,
you that Kerry Collins mustache I had.
That was a good movie, but you were very intimidating.
Who else is in that? I've seen that.
Forrest Whitaker, Keanu Reeves, Common, John, somebody named John.
Yeah.
Good old what's his name?
Yeah, I know.
Street Kings was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
movie.
You know what happened? I auditioned for that movie, and in the script, the guy was like the crazy fighting muscle-bound bodyguard to like Forrest Whitaker and to Keanu and to Chris Pine. Is that Chris Pine?
No, the other one, Chris, Captain America.
Evans.
Chris Evans.
Thank you. So I was like 180 at the time, and I wasn't like a big muscle-bound guy. I'm still not that type of body. So I wore like this shirt that, when you get like some collared shirts that are like tapered around here, so your biceps look bigger. And it was from the Nuclear. It's nice you run a clip. I'm not in. It was from the Nuclear sub Greenville. I did stand-up on it. When they were a C, and I remember I do the whole scene, and there's a rape scene in the audition with a lot of N-words in it. I'm raping another black cop's wife.
Right.
I'm like, you got your blood on me, and it was like one of the most embarrassing things you could ever audition.
Yeah.
But I nailed it. It was a rape, so I got it. And I'm done with the audition, and the director wrote Training Day, David Ayers. And he just looks up at me and goes, after I'm sweating and out of breath from a fake rape.
Right.
And he just looks up at me and goes, "Where'd you get the Greenville shirt?" I go, "I did stand-up on the Greenville." And he goes, "I was on that thing for 3 months, man."
Oh, really?
You want the part?
Well,
I was like, yeah. He goes, "Could you gain 20 pounds of muscle in 2 months?" I go, yeah. That's the only thing you ever want to be asked in show business.
To gain muscle?
Could you gain 20 pounds of muscle?
Right.
So you could actually write it off.
Right, yeah. Oh, that's true,
Trainer, protein powder, cutting weight, cocaine, steroids, like all of it. Vicodin. I was doing sets of 2, Mike. I'm not joking. I did sets of 2 with a trainer and then push-ups in between. I'd get on the bench. I would do sets of like 1.5, 2, like, and then then drop down and do as many push-ups until I was exhausted. Sets of 1.
Oh, wow.
I would go home and have diarrhea from the trauma. I'm not lying. I got jacked.
Yeah.
So thank you I'm so happy you pointed that out.
I would turn that down, that movie. I'd go, I'm not going to work out. That's too much for me, I think.
Well, we're,
No, I'm kidding. Jay Mohr is here. Jay Mohr is going to be doing stand-up at Side Splitters tonight, Friday, and Saturday.
Oh, there's a show tonight. That's right.
I would call 960-1197 to see him. I think I want to come on Friday to see the show, which I say a lot and then I never do. But I think I'm actually no. I think I'm actually going to do this. Like, I'm really talking past you. I'm talking to BT. Just letting you know, I'm probably going to come to the late show on Friday. Yeah,
I'd love it if you came. And if you guys come out tonight, I'll do a meet and greet tonight. I can't do. I try to, but it's hard to do meet and greets on the weekends because you hold up the second show.
I would say you want to get everybody out of there because you got to put new people in. So I understand that. But tonight you got one show.
I've been saying hi to people on their way in.
Oh.
As they're coming in, I just like, hey, nice to see you, nice to see you, nice to see you, nice to see you, nice to see you.
All right, good.
But tonight, Thursday, I'll say hi to you guys. Come out tonight. I'll make sure we shake hands and take selfies.
Anybody with you? You know? Okay, good.
Like the Viet Cong, man.
Listen to me.
We were fighting ghosts out there, man.
It is always good to see you.
I'm happy to see you, brother. I love you.
We should stay in touch more often.
I agree. I got you on my phone still.
Yeah. Let's.
If can. If no can, no can. I got you.
I feel like I need to check up on someone.
I'm telling you the truth.
No, I want to though.
But as friends,
I'm gonna bring you a book over and be like.
As far as mental health goes,
no,
I'm doing really good.
Just as a friend, I want to check and make sure you're doing good.
I'll do this. Then you left the door open. I'll do the same.
I'm leaving after the show. I have to go to New York, but I'll be back tomorrow morning. And then,
what are you doing in New York, man?
I got a charity event I'm going to.
Good.
But I'm going tonight. I'll be back tomorrow morning, and then. Saturday night, I'm hosting. This is a crazy weekend. Saturday night, I'm hosting an awards ceremony for firefighters. Might be a guy there you like. They're all muscular, steaming guys. Firefighters.
No, I don't do that. Maybe in a way, a long time. I don't shine shoes no more. I don't shine shoes no more. It makes your shoes look like mirrors.
And then Sunday, I'm serving food to first responders. So I got a busy charity weekend. But Friday is my only open night.
Good Catholic.
I live 10 miles away from the club. I'm going to come out and see you on Friday.
And first of all, let me tell you this: you going to serve food. First responders.
Yes.
You're doing a fireman benefit on Saturday in New York.
Yeah, no, that I'm doing here. New York's more of a pleasure thing, but it's a charity thing.
Oh man, that's what's up. That's it. That's great.
I started a charity this year, a charity organization for underprivileged kids. I feel like for the first time I'm using my powers for good. So yeah, I don't listen to me. You know, you're a Jersey guy. How many of my friends are firefighters? We're 9/11 guys who did all this stuff. I'm not doing that. Yeah. I get up every day and make fart jokes for 4 hours.
That helps people.
And make more money than they do. So
that helps people.
Yeah, but anytime I get the opportunity to do something for those guys, I'm happy to, man.
Yeah. Let me know if I can help in the future.
Yeah. See?
Please.
See? It's great to see you.
My man, I love you, brother. I feel good.
Stay healthy.
You look good, too.
And we will take it. See? Another guy. Every time somebody tells me I look good, then I feel like I don't need to go on a diet. I'm like, that's good.
You don't need to go on a diet.
See? This guy is perfect. I'm going to go in the steam room with you now.
Yeah.
We'll be back. It's the Mike Calta Show. It's 102.5 The Bone.
It's the Mike Calta Show on 102.5 The Bone. Real Raw Radio.